It's January 18th here in Seoul, and I'm Kim Dami. We begin with these stories making the headlines at this hour, starting with the visit to Moscow by North Korea's top diplomat. Choe Son-hui's trip cemented Russia-North Korea relations, with the two sides deepening their cooperation in all possible areas. Top nuclear envoys of South Korea, the U.S. and Japan are meeting in Seoul today to discuss countermeasures against the North's growing threats and arms deals between Moscow and Pyongyang. The United States is once again designating Yemen's Houthi rebels as a terrorist organization, a decision made after launching strikes on Houthi targets in Yemen in response to the rebels' attacks on ships in the Red Sea. The Samsung Electronics Galaxy Unpacked series returns this year with its very first AI smartphones. From a live translation feature to searches using a simple finger circle motion, the South Korean tech giant is looking to pave a new paradigm in the global smartphone market. We start with the visit to Russia by North Korea's top diplomat. During Choe Son-hui's trip there, Moscow and Pyongyang once again agreed to fasten and widen cooperation in all possible and what they call sensitive areas without revealing too many details. Our Choi Soo-hyung reports.
North Korea and Russia are looking to strengthen their ties during North Korean Foreign Minister Choe Son-hui's visit to Moscow. They have discussed enhancing bilateral relations in all areas, including sensitive areas, according to Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov on Wednesday. No specific details were given regarding the sensitive areas, but they seem to involve military cooperation. Military cooperation between Moscow and Pyongyang has been deepening since the 2022 invasion of Ukraine, with the North providing arms to Russia in exchange for Russia providing technical assistance. North Korea has expressed a proactive stance in joint actions, particularly on the Korean peninsula. The Kremlin called the North its closest neighbor and partner.
We confirm our principled position supporting the inclusive and fair resolution of existing problems. We have always supported the start of negotiations without preconditions in order to work for lasting peace and stability throughout Northeast Asia.
Moreover, the two have agreed to cooperate on food supply, mining development, and cultural exchanges. According to the officials, Russia will supply North Korea with food like corn, and the North will cooperate with Russia on the extraction of minerals such as gold and rare earth elements. Also, Pyongyang will permit group tourism for Russians starting February, marking the first time it will allow tourists in 4 years since its lockdown due to the COVID-19. Putin's potential visit to Pyongyang may have also been discussed, but was not mentioned publicly. Choi Soo-hyung, Arirang News.
And top nuclear chiefs of Seoul, Washington, and Tokyo are putting their heads together here in Seoul today to discuss Pyongyang's growing threats and its obvious arms deals with Moscow. South Korea's Kim Gun, his U.S. counterpart Jung Pak, and Japan's Hiroyuki Namazu are likely to discuss ways to deal with the North Korean provocations, which could include extra sanctions on the regime. On Wednesday, the South Korean and Japanese officials also sat down here in Seoul for talks, which focused on countering Pyongyang's military provocations and pledged for stronger trilateral security cooperation with Washington. And Washington says it will take Pyongyang's military space capability seriously if it has elements that allow the regime to conduct warfare. This, according to John Plum, the first Assistant Secretary of Defense for Space Policy on Wednesday, amid concerns over North Korea's pursuit of space-based military capabilities. However, he says while North Korean security issues exist, including its ballistic missile programs, it is not clear if launching a satellite constitutes a threat. The North claimed to have successfully launched its first spy satellite in November in 2023 and vowed to launch 3 more this year to secure space-based intelligence gathering capabilities. Yemen's Houthi rebels will be back on the United States' global terrorist list, Washington announced. Now, in the meantime, Israel says the likelihood of its military being drawn into a war in Lebanon with Hezbollah is growing. Lee Seung-ja has more.
Washington on Wednesday redesignated Yemen's Houthi rebels as specially designated global terrorists amid tensions in the Red Sea region. The announcement comes after the U.S. launched strikes on Houthi targets in Yemen in response to the militant group's attack on commercial ships in the Red Sea. According to a written statement from White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan on Wednesday, the designation is an important tool to impede terrorist funding to the Houthis, further restrict their access to financial markets, and hold them accountable for their actions. The National Security Advisor added that if the Houthis cease their attacks in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, the designation would be re-evaluated as it does not take effect for 30 days. And according to the Israel Defense Forces Chief of Staff on Wednesday, the likelihood of Israel being drawn into a war in Lebanon against Hezbollah is growing. The IDF chief said Israel was increasing readiness for fighting in Lebanon as it looks to stabilize its northern border. He added that the Israeli military would apply lessons it had learned from fighting in Gaza if it embarks on a campaign to push Hezbollah and others threatening Israel away from the border. Meanwhile, the head of the Palestine Investment Fund said Wednesday that at least $15 billion will be needed to rebuild houses in Gaza, explaining the scale of devastation caused by Israel's offensive. The group's chairman cited international reports saying 350,000 housing units had been completely or partially damaged in Gaza. Lee Seung-ja, Arirang News.
Pyongyang and Moscow once again solidify their bilateral relations through a visit to Moscow by the North's top diplomat Choe Son-hui. Let's discuss more about the significance of that trip. We're joined by Professor Bach this morning. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Professor Bach, during Choe's visit there was no official mention on discussions on Putin's possible visit to Pyongyang, but it's highly likely that they did, right? What would Putin's visit to the North actually signify?
Well, I think North Korea themselves has announced last year one of the most important achievement for them is to enhance cooperation between North and Russia. And so that's why the North Korea is trying their best to bring the Putin to visit North Korea, especially Pyongyang. And it's going to be another very huge achievement for Kim Jong-un because you see, North Korea and Russia, both of them are diplomatically isolated. So if they are showing to the world, and especially for the North Korean people, that the Putin is coming to North Korea, it's going to be get out of this diplomatic the isolation. So I think Putin also have his own reason to visit Pyongyang because North Korea has provided such a huge military assistance for the Ukraine war. And KN-23 is one of the most advanced North Korean missiles, but it is allegedly known that North Korea has provided this missile to Ukraine. So I think to the Russia. So I think Putin is also have the reason to come to the Pyongyang.
Right, North Korea and Russia appear to be in the same shoes at the moment. And Choe Son-hui's visit came as a North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, threatened to name South Korea this week as the regime's #1 hostile country in its constitution. Now, the North is also getting rid of its agencies that have been handling inter-Korean dialogue and cooperation. Professor Bach, are these big deals?
Well, I think this is the Kim Jong-un's attempt to regain control the inter-Korean relations. Since the South Korean government, Yoon Suk-yeol government, inauguration of the government, the South Korean government has emphasized so-called peace through the strength. And also at the same time, we are seeing the very enhanced cooperation among South Korea, Japan, and United States. Especially South Korea and United States has enhanced the so-called extended deterrence. And Kim Jong-un himself, admit, and this kind of enhanced deterrence capability by these three countries are such a huge challenge to their regime itself. And the last year, December, when they have a plenary meeting and Also, this month, when the Kim Jong made a speech at the Supreme People's Assembly, he's a very, criticized all those attempts and efforts made by South Korea, Japan, and United States. It means that the deterrence is work. So I think at this moment, what Kim Jong is trying to do is regain the control over the Korean Peninsula. So I think they not have any detailed plan to actually have a military confrontation or a military attack to South Korea.
All right, and at the same time, it looks like much of the world's attention is not on North Korea because of other, significant events going around in the world, like the war over in Gaza, which may be the reason for the North's provocative words and actions. Will Pyongyang keep this kind of stance or strategy throughout the year as we move towards the U.S. November presidential election?
Well, yes. North Korea has actually announced their new policy direction or line in December 2019. They called this line is a frontal breakthrough line, in Korean, 정면 돌파전. And one of the important features of this line include maximize their nuclear capability and preparing for a long-term battle. So I think they still continue to implement this policy direction. So this year is no exception. They will continue to develop the launch spy satellite and the Hwasong-18, the ICBM, to target the mainland of the United States. And additionally, they are attempting to escalate tension on the Korean Peninsula. And we should not exclude the possibility of a seventh nuclear test this year. And then North Korea may come to the negotiation table next year with the United States.
Right. Speaking of nuclear tests, a former chief U.S. nuclear negotiator, Robert Gallucci, has voiced concerns that a nuclear war could actually break out in Northeast Asia in 2024, which is this year. Professor Bach, should we really be concerned?
Well, I think it's definitely exaggerate. North Korea never gave up its intention to unify Korea by force, even use this nuclear capability. But we are seeing that North Korea could not win this war. They knew it very well. And Kim Jong-un himself admits implicitly, and he said that several times for the past couple of months that he really worried about the U.S. extended deterrence and ROK U.S. combined forces, the enhanced capability, and of course the cooperation with Japan. So Kim Jong-un knew start the war means the end of the regime, and he himself admit that too. So the North Korea's radical rhetoric is a kind of a sign of their showing weakness and some kind of a defense purpose, not the very aggressive and not to actually implement war against South Korea.
Right. The nuclear war, the word itself is very daunting and gruesome. So hopefully your words are more reliable. Now, it's not official, but widely believed that the North has nukes, right? South Korea, the U.S. and Japan are warning that the more provocations from the North, the stronger the trilateral cooperation will be. How can the three sides really then counter growing threats from the North in realistic ways? More drills? What do you think?
Yes, already South Korea, Japan, and United States conducted the neighbor exercise yesterday, and this is a very massive scale. And also, start with the last year, the three countries has conducted more than, I think, 7 or 8 times of the neighbor exercise, the very specifically targeted against North Korea's nuclear missile capability. South Korea, United States, and Japan conducted the so-called detect and identify and intercept of North Korea nuclear capable missiles. And at the same time, the three countries conducted anti-submarine war too. And this is a very enhanced deterrence against against North Korea. So North Korea himself is very worried about this kind of the enhanced deterrence against themselves.
Right, more to come throughout the year. Thank you so much for joining us, Professor Bach. You have a great day.
Thank you.
In some point in our life, we've all had an incoming call in a language that we don't speak or understand and being all left confused, right? Now, Samsung Electronics Galaxy S24 series, which translates calls and texts in real time in up to 13 languages, may work as one solution. Our business correspondent, Shin-Young has more.
The South Korean tech giant has unveiled its first AI smartphone, the Galaxy S24 series. This lineup includes the S24, the S24 Plus, and the S24 Ultra, boasting various functions backed by artificial intelligence.
As mobile devices become the primary access point for AI, Samsung Galaxy will be an open gateway for secure and meaningful AI experiences on a global scale.
The most significant feature is the on-device AI, which allows users to enjoy the cutting-edge technology of generative AI without connection to the cloud. The Galaxy S24 series comes with a live translate, providing two-way, real-time voice and text translation during phone calls, breaking down language barriers. No third-party apps are required, and on-device AI ensures complete privacy for conversations. In collaboration with Google, Samsung has introduced the Circle to Search feature. While browsing the web or using social media, users can simply draw a circle on the screen to search for the information instantly without the need to switch to other apps. Thanks to AI, the camera quality has improved compared to its previous model. With upgraded features like nightography, photos and videos shot are clear even when using the zoom feature in low-light environments such as at night. With its Galaxy AI editing tools, it can also fill in parts of an image background. If an object needs a slight adjustment, AI allows users to move the subject and generates a perfectly blended background in its original spot. To power these AI features, the latest Samsung smartphone is equipped with powerful processing power, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in the Ultra model and the Exynos 2400 in the other models. The Galaxy S24 Ultra is the first ever Galaxy phone to feature a titanium frame, enhancing device durability and longevity. The S24 Ultra is priced from $1,300 US. The S24 Plus will cost $1,000, and the S24 will retail at $800. The series will be available in stores across the world from January 31st. 신하영, Arirang News.
The U.S. Federal Reserve has reported signs that the heated labor market, which have been fueling inflation, is cooling off across the country. In the January Beige Book released on Wednesday, the Fed cited cooling signals in the labor market, such as an increase in job openings, a decrease in turnover rates, and a narrowing of wage growth pressure. Now, as for the overall economy, the Fed said despite expectations of a rate cut, there are still grounds for uncertainty, including commercial real estate, weak demand, and the U.S. presidential election. The report comes out of the policymakers' rate decision meeting on January 30th and 31st. The winter spirit is here to stay over in South Korea's Gangneung, where the Winter Youth Olympic Games Gangwon 2024 is about to kick off. The head of the International Olympic Committee showed confidence that the event will be a successful one. Our Song Yoo-jin reports from Gangneung.
All is set for a successful Winter Youth Olympic Games. These are the words of Thomas Bach, the president of the International Olympic Committee, regarding Gangwon 2024, as the Games are known. The IOC head took a tour on Wednesday of the Youth Olympic Village in Gangneung, one of two athletes' villages for the Games. Accompanying him was Choi Jong-gu, the executive president of the Gangwon 2024 organizing committee. As a former athlete himself, his utmost interest is in the well-being of all those competing in the Games. President Bach's first stop was the fitness center, where the athletes can keep themselves in shape. He also made sure to motivate the young athletes to chase their dreams, promising to meet them again at the 2026 Milano Cortina Winter Olympics.
You will follow in the footsteps of your Olympic greats. You're on the best way.
The next stop, the Athlete 365 House, where the athletes' education program is in full swing. This program aims to educate young athletes about safety in sports, mental health, and injury prevention. President Bach was joined by two athlete role models for Gangwon 2024, Olympic silver medalist Won Yoon-jong and Jackie Naricott, who will serve as mentors to the young athletes throughout the Games. He also took the time to meet with athletes from Ukraine.
We are with you. All the best.
After taking a look around the athletes' residence, President Bach didn't hide his impression of the village.
What I'm hearing from the athletes, they're all very happy. And you know what for athletes is the most important is good sleep and good food. And they all confirmed.
And before joining the athletes for lunch at the dining hall, this was his message for all the young competitors.
It's a great stepping stone then also for the Olympic Games one day. So what I can tell them is, enjoy this experience and then get ready for a great competition. Give it your best and then continue after to do the next step, and this is participation in the Olympic Games.
송유진, 아리랑 뉴스, 강릉.
Good morning, I'm Kim Ji-young, and now we turn off to stories from around the world. We begin today in Thailand, where an explosion at a fireworks factory has left at least 23 dead. The fireworks factory, located in the Thai province of Suphanburi, some 120 kilometers north of Bangkok, was completely destroyed by the explosion with no signs of any survivors so far. Local police said that the cause of the explosion is yet unclear. No damage was caused to other buildings as the factory was located between rice fields. Fireworks factory explosions and accidents are not uncommon in Thailand. One worker at the same factory was killed in an accident in 2022. And last year, at least 12 people were killed and 121 injured in an explosion at a fireworks warehouse that damaged more than 100 homes. Now to France, where President Emmanuel Macron announced a wide range of policies on Tuesday in an effort to reinvigorate support amid growing unpopularity. And among those measures are plans to address France's declining birth rate by reforming childbirth leave and combat infertility. Macron said future parental leave will be better paid, albeit shorter than current parental leave, and will enable both parents to be able to be with their child for 6 months if they so wish. Under the current system, parents can take leave from work until a child turns 3, but the payment of around $435 per month means most parents don't make use of the policy. France's birth rate dropped to 1.68 children per female in 2023, the lowest since 1946. Moving over to Kenya, where a judge on Wednesday ordered a mental health evaluation for cult leader Paul Mackenzie and 30 associates before they are charged with the murder of 191 children. Mackenzie, the head of the Good News International Church, was arrested last April after 429 bodies, including those of children, were found in graves west of the town of Malindi in southern Kenya. Authorities say the doomsday cult leader had ordered his followers to starve themselves and their children to death so they could reach heaven before the end of the world. Kenyan prosecutors said they will charge a total of 95 suspects on counts of murder, manslaughter, terrorism and torture in what is one of the world's worst cult-related tragedies in recent history. Now to our final story. Pet owners and farmers flock to the Vatican to have their animals blessed for St. Anthony's Day. Every year, members of the Association of Italian Breeders gather at St. Peter's Square for the event. January 17th marks the anniversary of the death of 4th century Christian Saint Anthony the Abbot, the patron saint and protector of domestic animals, who gave his inheritance to the poor and lived a monastic life in the desert with only animals.
Good morning. We received more winter precipitation than expected yesterday, making roads dangerous. It was quite icy last night. And right now, wet clouds are dropping rain in southern parts of the country. Jeollado provinces to see more showers until this afternoon. Then those in Gyeongsangdo provinces need to keep an umbrella handy throughout tonight with 5 to 30 millimeters in the forecast. Meanwhile, Jeju Island will see heavier showers. Those in the east of Gangwon need to brace for snowfall from this morning and into this weekend. Until tomorrow, they could see up to 15 centimeters of heavy snowfall. But temperatures will spike to 10 degrees Celsius this afternoon in Seoul, and temperatures stay warmer than norms until Sunday before a major cold snap arrives next week. Central areas will see a big jump in highs this afternoon, and the southern provinces will have highs that are similar to slightly higher, topping out at 10 degrees in Gwangju and Gyeongju this afternoon. Meanwhile, the west of central regions will see bad dust levels during the first half of the day. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the international weather conditions.
We thank you for watching New Day at Arirang. We'll be back tomorrow for Friday's edition at the same time, 9 a.m. Korea time.